If you want to talk afterwards, we can. But they're all waiting for us now.
We're live now. We're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome. The beautiful Maddie Schaefer is with us today. This is the Freedom Network. I'm your host, Seanin Mouland, and your truth is our unity. So if today's show resonates, please can you share it along? We are raising collective consciousness, one real conversation at a time. And Maddie's a favorite on the show. She's been on before. And she always has some wonderful things to share about what's happening now. I was just explaining to her where I'm at currently.
I think we're both in the same place.
The story of to get this interview going is exactly the way everything has been going. And poor Maddie, I was trying to tell her, like, honestly, it's not you, it's everything. Like, my system has fallen down, PayPal's let down on me. Like, I've sent people emails and it disappeared.
Wow.
I agreed to things and then the next day it didn't happen. And the other person is going, you didn't tell me this. And I was like, we definitely had that conversation. Or like, you had it in a dream, right? And this is kind of where I'm at the moment. So I'm having to do everything one thing at a time because I will not know otherwise. It was never you, Maddie. It's me. I'm not on this planet right now. But anyway, how are you doing?
I don't know. Look, it's been insane, and everybody can tell I've got a frog in my throat and I'm going to cough from time to time, okay?
That's okay.
What's amazing to me, I'm at what I call the annoying stage of the cold, which is where it's all done bar the coughing. And it sounds a lot worse than it is. What's really interesting to me is that I haven't had a virus for years.
Wow.
Really. I've been in such good shape. My immune system's just got stronger and stronger and stronger because I've been working with Dr. Joe Dispenza's body of work, and it's really had such an impact on me on every level. And so when I got this bug, and by the way, I didn't catch it from anybody because I'm pretty much a hermit in my little house. I connect with the world on the internet, but I don't go very many places, and I'm quite happy about that. It just works for me. Might change one day, but at the moment, that's how it is. And I just got this virus, and I thought, well, this is really interesting. Because my husband sometimes gets viruses from people that he goes, and I'll never get them. So it's not like I really caught it. Yeah. I absolutely know that this has been a recalibration,
right? Yeah.
To use that word. And I was really aware of that at the time. And I have to be very disciplined and not talk about what it is that's being recalibrated because it's still all in the middle of everything and it's really hard to talk about, but it's been enormous. It's been massive. And maybe the point is, what is the point? This is, I mean, it's a little bit like, the sublime and the absurd, but, the fact that an area of the Amazon, half of Brazil is a flame right now. That's kind of planetary. Yeah. There's really big stuff happening. And it was very interesting to me because, of course, I love the planet. I love green stuff. I love nature. And I had to ask myself very deeply, and I spoke about it in my live this morning. Yeah. This random thing, but I don't think it's random at all. If everything is manifesting perfectly, and if everything is about the consciousness of humanity and it co-creates with Gaia, right? Gaia is not some victim or something awful is happening. If we all died tomorrow, the planet would be fine. It would just adapt. The niches would fill in. You wouldn't know 1,000 years from now. But the point is that the planet and humanity are connected, and we're more aware of that because of what we know about the Schumann resonance envelope and how that, it's affected by consciousness of humanity. And so I think about, what you're talking about with this insanity of everything just not working and me getting a cold.
Ridiculous, though. I love crazy. So perfect because it's beautiful, but also madness surrounding it.
It's crazy. And so this thing, with all of this, this ancient forest, and there'll be extinctions. There's stuff that nobody knows about that's being lost. And the point I was getting to, circuitously, is I was thinking to myself yesterday, how do I really want to think and feel and be about this? Because if I was an environmentalist, I'd be saying this is an unmitigated disaster. This is planet altering. It's the lungs of the planet, tra la 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 la. And I could be so in fear and in dread and in everything. And there's a part of me that really wants to go there. And there's another part of me that absolutely knows that this is sodding perfect. And there's some massive wisdom in here that I can't see yet. And there's another little thing in my mind that I remember reading in Cryon years ago. And Cryon, of course, is the only channeled consciousness that I have ever followed. And it sticks with me. And I remember Cryon saying about extinctions, how sometimes there's actually a form of energy that needs to leave the planet. And to not fight and not hold on to these things because it's part of a consciousness shift. And it's like, oh, that's not politically correct, Maddie.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me that really feels, oh my goodness, what if this massive conflagration and this crazy guy who's running Brazil, who none of us like, what if all of that is actually part of something that's that massive and on that scale, and a releasing and letting go of an old energy as part of this whole chaos? You get chaos, and then after the chaos, there's order. We reorganize ourselves. What if it's all like that? I don't have answers, but when I think about how I want to hold it, I do know that I don't want to hold it in fear. I don't want to say, oh my God, this is ghastly. Oh no, the planet will never be the same. We've lost so much. It doesn't help.
No.
So it's this crazy, and then it's like me, my whole energy's being reconstituted. And I never used to say that. It was like, oh, please, come on. But really,
I get you though. I don't used to either. But it's getting to the point now where I have to.
Yes.
I have to. I don't have any other understanding. That's what this is. Like, literally, I'm a dum-dum. The last 3 weeks, I have no brain. Like, and I'm not saying it as a joke, right? And I'm not saying, I know there's a complete rewiring going on. My opinions have changed. My tastes have changed. My interests have changed. Who I am has changed. And there's this big, grounding, heavy energy around me right now to keep me in that state where I'm not pushing past it. So, yes, thank you, Maddie. It is a real thing. As much as it sounds pretentious as heck. Right?
It's crazy. And I think the thing for me, what comes to me when you're talking about, that kind of my brain is not working thing that's going on. Physically, when that happens, because I had that today, honestly, even up to when was it? 5 o'clock today, I was thinking, shit, I've got this interview this evening. I have no brain. How on earth am I going to show up and look like in something approximating a human being? And I finally, I just needed to mooch for a bit, and I thought I was tired, and I had a really good night's sleep, but then I got on my yoga mat and it was fine. And I got this particular place where I did a bunch of stretches for my shoulders and arms. And suddenly my brain just woke up, which was really a surprise because I don't normally get those kind of results. But I think having spent the last week coughing, something had tightened and it affected my brain function, right?
Yeah.
So there are these physical things that can happen. Yeah. And then there's the whole process that happens when the brain is literally not firing optimally, when the different compartments of the brain are not working together. That's called incoherence. It's quite normal, we won't run around being incoherent as a matter of fact, but there's degrees of it, right? And when you just can't think, and when you find yourself flying off the handle or feeling really tired or feeling really angry or really sad, that's an incoherent state. And I know now that when that's happening, like that heaviness that you're experiencing, I need to go do something to get coherent. Yeah. And there are really fast things I can do, and there are longer things I can do. It depends on how much time I have. But I understand that now. And you can get that when, again, at a neurological level, because it has to change in the hardware, when your energy changes and you're talking about having, different likes and your taste changing and everything, you literally have to prune connections in there and make new ones. That also takes energy and causes a certain amount of confusion.
And it's a creation point, isn't it? Like with the Amazon, destruction is creation.
Yes.
It's a new realm, a new reality, and a new experience. And who's to say that the response to this, the fear even in some places, is not perfect as well, because it's going to instigate a further shift in consciousness here. You know,
Exactly.
I believe, I honestly believe in this reality, there's no such thing as sacrifice. Everything is
Mm.
energy, therefore it changes into something new and different. When we lose it, it's never truly lost. And that's
Yeah.
the way that we should look at this. You know, there is perfection inside of every single experience. And when you speak of that, that idea of like cognitive function and everything reworking, it just reminds me, yes, we are all in a state of birthing right now. That's come up a lot. Like I've seen that a lot. And this idea of freedom codes, I'm not resonating so much with that as much as everyone is saying it. I need to be honest, right? Like
It's like, oh,
freedom,
please.
freedom suggests loss to me at times. Like we can have freedom from things that have kept us back, but I think we're beyond that now. I think we're now at the point where creation is taking place, where destruction has occurred because of this freedom. I feel like we are now at a point where we are becoming bigger and more and know our bigger and more, and we have to be conscious in those choices, present in
Yes.
choices. Freedom can
Yeah.
sometimes be a thing that is willy-nilly and without grounding, but the energy now, it's about grounding into the truth and really,
Mm.
really trusting that what we are, everything is energy and nothing is lost. And that's the way I look at it.
I love it
Yeah,
because there's so much drama and disaster in this sort of, I don't know, many of the responses that are out there.
yeah,
And I don't want to participate in that. And you just talk about distraction, and I think, and I'm so not into these systems, but Kali, but you can't have. You've got to have distraction to have something new, and there's a part of me that thinks, gee, I wonder what's going to come out of this. I really do,
yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's such an interesting time
It
to
is.
be creating yourself, and I think maybe that's the important thing. I can't change what's happening in the
Yeah.
South American continent. Not a thing. I can send good energy, but I even know it's like I'm very aware that each and every one of us has the ability to affect every atom in our universe quantumly, right? With intention, with thought, but that too, it's like a choice. Where do I put my energy and where do I put my attention? Literally, am I going to be splashing it around fighting
Yeah.
fires? Or
Yeah.
do I say, no
Yeah.
pun intended, but I think about this often. Exactly, where am I putting my energy? Where is it that's not even calling me? Where is it that I want to pay attention? Because where your attention is where your energy goes.
Mhm.
And it's not that it's finite. I'm limitless, you're limitless, we all freaking are actually limitless. But also, we live in 3D and we have all this programming and we forget and all of that. And there is this illusion of time, which means that sometimes I do have to do one thing at a time. So I can't spend my entire day focusing on this, and this, and this because I've got X, Y, Z that I need to get done.
Mhm.
And I will no longer accept running myself into the ground because of all the problems that need me to fix them,
Yeah.
because that doesn't serve anyone, least of all me.
No.
It's an interesting thing when you decide that you're going to stand up 5 days a week and deliver something to people, and you recognize that they're receiving value. And while, I could absolutely stop, I know they'd miss me. They'd find something else. But there's a certain sense of exchange and connection, and I don't want to use the word responsibility. I can't think of the right word. It's commitment, perhaps. Um, and when you have that level of commitment to what you want to do, when I have that level of commitment to what I want to do in my life, if that's my mission is to offer that service to people,
Yes.
then I really have to decide from moment to moment, what aligns with my mission. Because if I go off fighting fires, my mission just might suffer a little bit or a whole lot. And it seems terribly selfish not to be upset about all the problems that are going on around the place. But if I divert my energy into all of those things, when I stand up tomorrow morning, I won't have anything, It's like...
So with you in this. I'm so with you in this. Last week, I made a post, time to commit. I will write according to what I hear, right? But the thing is, I'm not in the active place of predicting or sending out big messages, but I'll write according to what I hear. Last week was about commitment. And what you're bringing through is everything that I've been picking up the last few days about grounding down. There's a certain amount of soul level maturity inside of our creations now. We fully see with clarity our purpose. It's not freedom, it's creation found through freedom of choice, I think, and really honoring that freedom of choice as you are expressing here. And
it's the freedom to say no.
Yes.
It's the freedom to say, no, I don't have to be all things to all people, and I don't, carry on.
Oh my God, that's a big thing though, but Maddie, how do you cope with that? Because I just posted a video this morning talking about this. There's a lot of energy expended on the project here of the show, right? But I have to be really conscious about where I'm placing that, because as it gets bigger, there's more, right? And I need to be really present and communicate clearly with everyone about the purpose. Literally, the profile here has been given up. It's not a Facebook profile anymore. It's for this project, this network, right? And I had to say today, I had to literally say, right, I need your help, right, to everyone, and say, look, there are certain things I can't do anymore that I wouldn't be able to before. How do you manage that in your own life? Because you're creating a lot of great stuff, right? And you're putting out so much. How do you keep yourself measured and accountable for how your energy is being used?
I'm going to sit with that for a minute, or for a moment anyway. I think by degrees and ever more, that's something I've been doing for a very long time. But I think I really started to get clear about it in the middle of 2017 when I was working with my then mentor, Ali Frost, who really taught me about the power of yes and no. And this moment-to-moment thing of what's right for me now, what's appropriate for me now, and also realizing that what was fantastically right and perfect for me 6 months ago is probably not going to be right for me today, because everything changes. And so we can never make an assumption about, what's going to fit. And the fact that other people are going to make all kinds of assumptions about what they think I can do. It's crazy because, of course, I do my 20 minutes or 23, 22 minutes in the morning, and then it sort of takes me 2.5 hours a day on the weekday to do my Facebook work. I've also got this other hat that I wear, 3 hours, sometimes less, sometimes more. I got to eat, I got to cook, and my husband's sick at the moment, so there's a little bit more work for me to do. I need to do yoga, I need to exercise, and there are just the things that I need, and I need to meditate. Oh my goodness, I need to get Without that, it's like, I am so not interested in, it's like, don't get between me and my meditation time. You'll die. Like, that's the end, okay? Because without that, I don't function so well. So how I manage it is really knowing what it takes to keep me running, really knowing what I cannot do. And there's this thing which I've been getting better at in the last little while, because time used to be this tremendous pressure for me. It's like, I need to get this done. I've got this, and you just get you're just running through your day to get everything done. And part of that is actually shedding things that, like you say, I just can't do this now. And I've got more and more focus. When I'm in Facebook, I'm at work, and people sort of ring you up and say, hi, how are you? It's like, hey, look, if you want to ask me a question, I'll answer you. If you want to have idle chat, I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just don't do that. And occasionally I've had to say to people, look, I'm just not one for idle chat. There's no space in my life for that. If you've got a question, ask me. Otherwise, bless you, leave me alone.
You're you beautiful person. You have like you and I are very similar. Honestly, that's me, right? When you were describing like, oh, I just keep myself, I hang around in the house with my husband. I'm exactly the same. I am not a social being, right?
Yeah.
And I spend quite a bit of time by myself. And if I go out anywhere, I'd rather do it on my own. Like,
Yeah.
and this is like that's kind of how I am. And like, and this like I used to put myself under literally 10 minutes ago. I was worried about this, right? Before the show started. I used to put myself under a grand amount of pressure to try and upkeep with other people's expectations of what sociability is. But mine is not the same as other people's. And you just give me permission to own that, Maddie. Thank you. Thank you.
No apologies for what is right for you and me.
Yeah.
So there's this absolute freedom that I've come into pretty much, and I've got pretty good at saying it without beating people up. Can't do it. And the bit in the middle, with the things that I really am committed to doing, is actually trusting the flow of my day, so that if I have 10 minutes here, do I want to spend it doing this? Do I want to spend it just mooching around and doing little things that will annoy me, like folding up some bags or putting the dishes away that have been dry but not do I need to just mooch around and not do anything that has to be done? But makes me it's this absolute moment to moment of trusting myself enough that things will get done. And like today, because taking an hour out of my evening, and more than that, actually needing to be in a space where I'm sort of human, and I haven't been particularly well today, and I had the same kind of dance of thinking, how am I going to make all this happen? And there's all these moving pieces, and how much can I get done before, and then not be in a rush? And it's just, excuse me, it's really a dance sometimes, because we can all race through our day, but then I'm not centered, I'm not grounded, I'm not present, I'm not coherent. I'm just, let me get through this, and there's nothing valuable really in that. That's just slavery. That's like a bloody treadmill. I don't want to do that.
Yes.
But you and I both know how close that treadmill space is, because we've both been there.
Yeah, really close. Like it can happen so quickly. Like I notice I'll just get this moment where I'm like super excited about life, everything's wonderful, and then all of a sudden all the energy drains from my body, and my body goes, nope.
Crash.
And I'm like, oh no, I've hit nope, right? And if I've hit nope, that's my fault. I dropped something off that needed to be happening. I wasn't giving myself enough space. Nope happens when I'm pushing past the point of the sweet spot, or I'm chasing it. I'm enjoying things so much that I start to chase the joy and the glory and the brilliance and all the fun and the creation, right? And then my body goes, nope, because it needs to be balanced. It needs to be harmony. Harmony is a big word that I'm playing with right now, harmony in my life, harmony inside of myself is something very magical, alchemical about that. And I feel like for so many of us, like you and I, Maddie, we're similar in this way. Like we could sit here and we could create for days, but we need to constantly be disciplined with ourselves in that regard, so we can continue harmonizing when we create, rather than just pushing and pumping.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's the thing is, because when you're in a flow and it's fun doing what you do, and that's lovely, but sooner or later 3 dimensions catches up with you. You need to eat, you need to take care of yourself. The temporal, the minutiae, the routine has to be looked after, and it's this, I don't want to call it attention, although sometimes it is. It's the constant swing and the pendulum and the balance and the interplay and the synergy of all of these aspects of ourselves, and keeping that balanced. Because, if people become so freaking spiritually everything that they're no earthly good, that's great. Not. That drives me crazy. I'll be honest. It's like, oh, fine, just not in my space. I can't stand it.
No,
Because
I
I'm
don't like
such
it.
a really practical person. Okay, I give in.
Mind work, like sense of humor, heart centered. I need that as well. Like I really do. But that's the template that we're in, right? Because I see and sense that spiritual template, that very highly awake, deeply beautiful, angelic, celestial template, has been so beautiful and necessary for the frequencies that draws in and out, right? What it's anchoring here is beautiful. For me, I will never be that. I said that in the show last week. I went, I will never be that because it can't be, right? There's
Well,
just
hold on a minute.
yeah,
I got to call bullshit on this. Not to you, but this idea that this angelic, it's holy, it's beautiful, it's pure, it's lovely. Doesn't it ever crack a freaking joke? Come on! This is the thing. Sometimes in my meditations at the moment, the energy that I'm connecting with, which is actually me, is incredibly all of that. And also at the same time, it just laughs at me.
yeah.
We all get so terribly spiritual and serious about, oh, please come on, lighten up. It's like love is this deeply spiritual, serious, intense thing.
No, it's not.
It's all of that, but it's also rip-snortingly, hilariously funny.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, can we please stop? So, and I've been incredibly serious with the best and the worst of them. Guilty as charged. So
like there's phases I go through as well, where I sit there and I think life would be a lot easier if I wasn't doing groundwork. Life would be a lot easier if I had chosen a different path of expression and connection here. One that was in a state of being and not active in a human sense. Like if I wasn't so resolutely human, this would be a much easier route, I feel. But then maybe that's just a judgment that I've placed upon it. When we're going into the world for human beings, for human life, for real life, working with the practical measures of all dimensions, anchoring fully from grounded heart frequency, right? That's work. And it's never not.
yeah.
And I don't
Sometimes it is, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't believe in this idea, right? That we were meant to bypass all that, right? Or skip past it, or become something that is beyond this human experience here. I want to be in it with people. I don't want to leave. And I'm here for that. And your expression there makes me laugh. It's beautiful because it's the naturalness of you, right? The quality of you is so naturally yourself. Like there's such truth in that whole thing for me speaks of soul in a way so much more easily than anything that was not it, not natural, not true to your very human and yet very soulful, very loving form. And I just want to say thank you for bringing that message across, because that is majorly important and sometimes can be overlooked. Because on a mass level, right, on a mass level, even I'm looking to out there to the sparkles, to the
because it's sexy, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I should just do that instead. Right? I should just all these parts of me, right? Just go into a chamber, come back out again, and just be deleted, right? Maybe I need to delete myself. But
Well,
anyway,
I tell you, excuse me. People are. How do I say this without sounding like I'm? It's not a slap. People naturally gravitate towards the sparkly stuff because I'm sort of winding back a bit. They gravitate to the sparkly stuff because the people who do the sparkly stuff help them connect with, wisdom and guidance. They do readings, they do all of those things. And that's part of the process. It's going, oh, there is sparkly stuff. But then, you get into all the angels and and all the systems and everything that we've talked about before, drives me insane. It's like, no, not assistant, please. That's just me. But then it's like you're saying, there's a maturity that comes when you realize, and this is, people rave about me, but very few people seem to want to work with me. And the reason why, maybe it's just lack of exposure, because I'm still really small fry in terms of exposure and who sees me and tra-la-la, whatever, But I don't want to give people the sparkly stuff. I want them to discover that all the sparkly stuff they ever wanted and miles more is inside them. And I want them to know how to do that.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, this is what, if anyone's going to rip my undies, that's my favourite thing. If anyone's going to rip my undies, it's the fact that people think that they really need someone else to help them connect with source and, know their own wisdom and all of that stuff. No, they do not.
No.
But admittedly, this is true. I just see a lot of people who they've had an amazing experience and so in their own process, and so they teach their own process. But I think it's very easy when somebody teaches their own process to say, well, you follow this process, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, you tick these boxes and you'll get this result. But of course, that's all work for them.
Yeah.
And it takes, I think it takes magnitudes more skill to meet somebody where they are, to really observe, even more than listen, to really observe and to think and to ask them questions, which is my big thing, in such a way that they will be able to find their own way forward. Now, my experience and everything that I've done and everything I haven't done, there's an awful lot of stuff that I just went, no, I'm not interested, because it's like I couldn't say yes to it. All of those things inform the way that I work with people.
Yes.
But I just find it really interesting how much people rave about me, and yet there's very few actually step up to work with me. And I don't find it disheartening. I almost find it sort of amusing. It's not quite the right word either. I don't know what the right word is. It's just the way it is, really.
I'm in a similar boat. I just want to say that to you. I'm saying I understand, right? Because, and I used to try and in a linear way consider this from the perspective of, well, I'm creating so much free content that perhaps this is the reason why. And then I see out there's a lot of discussion around the fact that, people are moving into sovereignty now and not wanting to work with people on a deeper level. And then I'm sitting there thinking, that was the best thing I ever did for myself, was work with someone else, right? To have that mentorship, because it takes you deeper. And it's personal to you. Like, it just feels like, and for ages I questioned this. I don't know what's causing that either, but I started to kind of let it go a little bit, and then I started to let go of the concept of this is the only way that I can serve.
Yeah.
And that really helped, because I started to see more, now that I wasn't fixed on these are the reasons that I'm here and this is my purpose here, right? I was one of the sparklies for a while. I was an intuitive reader, and then I shifted, right?
Yeah, and you see your growth too, your process too.
Yeah,
it's absolutely how it works. It's beautiful.
Something clicked with me recently, Maddie, right? And it was interesting that it came up in this conversation. To me, you have a depth of awareness to you, and you have tracked every avenue in ascension, in consciousness, in personal development, where conversation with you is fascinating, and you can go to the depths, allowing people to think and reflect on where they are with stuff. That's one of your gifts, and you're very nurturing when you do that. Also, you're very good at staying present with people, and it's something that I really appreciate. I started changing the angle of how I was sharing on a basis similar to what exactly you embody here. I started to think, what's really missing? And it's connection, it's community, it's allowing people a voice for discussion. So now in my group sessions, especially the mentorship, they're social. We go in, I'll go in with a thing, and it's like, right, it's kind of like a mastermind networking where we're talking about some that came up, and this energy of connection and discussion and equalizing seems to be the most powerful one. But you have to kind of walk that path through the guru and the leader to know how to delineate away from it, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been through that.
Totally. Yeah.
I've acted as it for a short while and also been subject to it, right? So
Yeah.
it's only from that measured place of having been through that I now know how to hold a space that
Yeah.
doesn't carry that frequency.
Yeah. And I think anybody who is on a path really and is going to keep asking the questions and growing is going to go that way. You know, I meet some from time to time. I just have a conversation with someone, and one way or another they have realized, oh yeah, the guru, and it was all about them, and I've graduated from that, and now, you know, exactly your path. And you know, and I think about my little group, the Heart Field for Abundant Manifestation, which is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And it works exactly like that. In that, you know, I mean, I do the weekly training videos, and those are straight downloads. It's amazing. I sit at my computer on it's either a Wednesday or a Thursday night. Last week, because I was unwell, it was Friday, and it's just okay. And I tune in, and pretty much bang, I know what the thing is. You know, I know what the thing is for the week, and I put the video up. Sometimes people are live with me, but usually not. And it's always, oh, that was, you know, there was, how did you know? It's like, of course I know. I'm connected to the field. And then we get together once a month.
Yeah.
And those are amazing sessions. They're incredible. But it's exactly this interchange and flow between us, and the people that are in that space are each so amazing in themselves that it's not, I'm not the only coach in there. You know, they quite frequently coach each other. And I don't mean they just make little suggestions. I mean the insight that comes through these people is just, oh my God, that's amazing. And of course, I haven't lived that person's life, so I don't know what they know. And it's fabulous. It's wonderful. I totally, absolutely with you on that. You know,
this sounds fascinating what you're doing. This sounds fascinating. So, and it's the heart field for, say it again.
The Heart Field for Abundant Manifestation.
Amazing. And you're doing instructional videos. Are they done by Facebook Live? Or are they done? Yeah.
So this is a private group in Facebook, as in, you know, secret. So it's very intimate, as in there are 6 of us in there, right? Yeah. There's me and 5 others. And it's not, it's not a group that people just come into and stay for 5 minutes and go away. They tend to come and they stay and they grow, because it is a space where you can grow. And I've seen massive transformation, and because it's incremental, it's ongoing, it's ongoing. It's a process. And you know, sometimes people have periods where they're posting quite a lot and they're asking questions, and I give them feedback, you know, like, this is what I would suggest or whatever. And sometimes they're quiet for a while, they just comment on the lives occasionally. But I see the progression in the people who are there, and it's not small, it's significant changes, which is so exciting. It's very, very cool. So, you know, I love that.
It sounds awesome. You're so informed. Like, you are so informed. And if there's, like, I find every measure of what you say and what you bring down fascinating and considered. And your intent is truly quality education. It doesn't surprise me that you resonate so strongly with Dr. Joe Dispenza. How are you finding that experience, then? What have you been working with?
Oh, seriously. Okay, they'll download, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful how these things happen. There's a little part of me that wants to regret the fact that, you know, I loved What the Bleep Do We Know. We have the movie. And I didn't get Joe. I mean, I love the movie and I love them in the movie, but there was nothing at that time in me to resonate with where he was at that time to make me, you know, go any further. And then, and was it, I don't know, a few years later, Cryon, the Three Amigos, right? There's that wonderful Q&A session where there's him and there's Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden. Of course, those three, they are the three friends. They're like the Beatles. They're rock stars.
All over
And
again.
there's so much information in that download. And I just, I listened to that for years. And then some beautiful friends of ours really connected with Joe's work last year. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, fine, And they decided to give us, as a gift, the blessing of the energy centers for Christmas. And I decided to buy us, a copy of Becoming Supernatural. Because I saw the book at their house, and, and I found it on Trade Me eventually. It's $32, get a grip, buy it. And there was this other meditation that they loaned us, which is the one where you use breath to liberate energy out of your body. It's called Reconditioning a Body to a New Mind. So I actually did that one first because it just intrigued me.
Yeah.
And the very first time I did that, which was sometime in February, I think, I knew that I'd had a significant drop in my autoimmunity. It had been dropping off anyway because of some physical stuff I'd been doing. But within a week, I was off the thyroid medication I've been taking. It just tailed down. It had been tailing down anyway, but it just accelerated. And, it sort of bibbled and bobbled around for a while. I haven't taken any thyroid medication now for, 6 weeks.
Where did you
This is reconditioning the body to a new mind. I'm one of those sodding people who does the very first time you do it and you get a result, bang. It's like, okay, this is interesting. And about a week later, I did it again. That was fine. And then about another however long it was later, I did it again.
Yeah.
And I had this a gene polymorphism, which is the FUT2 gene, which means you have a problem with absorption and production of vitamin B12. It causes all kinds of problems with digestion. Wow. And I had this, and I knew I had this, because if I didn't take a rather massive dose of B12 every day, I was in stum. Right. At the end of that meditation, it was gone. It just gone. The gene, it just changed. You can make epigenetic change. I know, in real time. This is really what happens. Like, oh, okay, well, that's nice. Low hanging fruit. Thank you very much. And then there were a series of events at the end of March. Daylight savings came in, and sort of in March, I've been thinking, I need to get this into my life. I need to, and I had to rearrange my day, because my day is, like all those bits and pieces we talked about, the moving parts. So I rearranged my day when the time zone changed, and that was the way to get it into my morning. I get up, I wake myself up, I meditate, I go for my walk, I do my live, I get onto my web structure work. That's my life. And so, every day since the 2nd of April, oh my God, am I a different person since then? Hell yeah. And this, this virus, I've not been able to do that meditation with the breath work in it, because I would just cough, impossible. Yeah, so I've just been doing blessing of the energy centers since I got unwell. I can't even say I got sick. I did not get sick. I've been getting a healing. And it's been profound. The shift has just been massive. And there's this whole new other me from another time in another place that's coming in. It's like one day I'm going to open my eyes and look in the mirror and see that energy more than I see the old me. The old me is actually sort of, bye. So it's just astonishing. And the biggest gift out of it probably has been in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And it's what Joe talks about wholeness, about feeling so whole that you can't want anything.
Yeah.
And I have connected with that state now enough times that it's just innate in me. And that you can't buy that. You can't buy that. I can still, if I want to go into lack, I can still look at all the things I haven't manifested and how my business hasn't grown and I'm not financially independent yet and tra-la-la-la-la. But that is now a conscious choice.
That's my head. Money, I love being your friend. And God, you me. Continue.
It's lovely because I know you know what it's like, but this, I was just there this morning, honestly. And there was this moment where I thought, I can lack for nothing. I don't want this moment to end. And I didn't. Where I was, I just did not want anything to change. I mean, of course, the time goes by. But I did not want that moment to end. And I have those moments more and more often. And it's funny, I sit down, and in the last few days, because like the instruction from my, big meta self, whatever, has been, it's like I sit there and I'm doing the work. It's like, so we're going to do this today, and this is how it's going to be, and this is what's going to happen, and it does. And it's just all been, what was it? Increasingly, the last couple of days, all it is, look, you pay attention, you follow the instructions Joe gives you. We're going to do the blessing. You don't say what the blessing is. We're just going to put it in there now. And so I'm just sitting there paying attention, because the paying attention, where you put your attention is where your energy is. And I'm really pretty good at not having a herd of cats inside my head most of the time now. Still wanders, but comes back. And feeling this massiveness of the downloads coming in from this is from my huge self. There's nobody else in the room, okay? And it's profound. I mean, really, forget working with me. But this is the thing, I've never met Joe. I hope to meet him. I'm sort of quietly creating a mind movie. And in my mind movie, there are shots from some of his events, because I want to go to an event just so I can give the man a huge blessing for what he's made available for me, him and his team. He does not do it alone. He says, I'm nothing without my team. He's quite right. It's a massive production, what he does. And all the research and the science is massive, what he's doing. And I just want to go and thank him. And I also want to go and have this amazing experience that he creates, to allow people to reach such stages of coherence that they can shift stage 4 cancer. And, in a moment, it's just gone because of what they've done at the frequency. Oh, yeah, rave. The work is amazing. You got to do the work. But it becomes so healing and whole and useful. And the beauty of it is that it's so well explained that I know what I'm doing and why. And when weird stuff comes, when weird stuff happens, it's like half the time I say, oh, that's because it's part of my brain's doing what he said, and this is happening, and I understand it, so you can relax with it instead of going, what the hell is that? Which is the normal response to something new and exciting happens. Like, oh, better shut that down. So it's very, very amazing work to be doing, and it's undergirding everything else that I do now. Because I don't know how long ago it was that I had this light that went on, and I realized that it doesn't matter what modality people use. It doesn't matter whether they go for a walk on the beach or talk with their friend or whatever it is, healing, spiritual, sparkly or not. Everybody wants to be coherent, because coherence feels good and incoherence feels bad. Incoherence makes you sick. Coherence makes you well. It's really that simple. And, the reason why, if you spend an hour with a person who does a healing modality, the reason why you feel good is because they've created a nice coherent field. They hold it with you. They help you align yourself to that field. And if they do it well enough and you do it well enough, then you get a shift and some of it sticks. But if what happens a lot of the time is people go, oh, that was really great, and then they walk out of the room or they turn off Zoom or whatever it is, and they go back to being the normal person they were before, and nothing changes, and that's why. Because there's no new wiring in here, the body's not getting any new instructions, and so it just carries on doing the same thing. Everybody wants to feel coherent, but they don't realize that to do that, they might just have to stop being the incoherent self they've been for however long. They might just have to become somebody else. Somebody who was never fit to begin with.
Do you hear how there's a bit of a lag in my video, right? But do you hear how everything that we've talked about just came down to that last sentence? What you just shared about, suddenly becoming somebody else. We started off a recalibration. We looked at the path. We talked about everything so perfectly wound itself into those moments. And you're right. everything you're reflecting is so powerful. I have two of Joe Dispenza's books on my shelf. Have I read them? No. Becoming Supernatural and something
You
about
are the placebo,
not
or
becoming
breaking the habit of being yourself.
breaking the habit of being yourself. Yeah, that one. Right. So I've got both of them there. So it's important to me that you shared that today. Thank you. And I've got a quote from someone, right, who I really admire and respect. Jesus Nitzai in Medina. I don't know if you caught him on the show before. He runs off a different frequency to anyone else I've ever met. Maddie, you would really enjoy him. Right? I'm not surprised that he's here and caught your show, right? Because you two, yes, I get that, right? But he shared a quote here that I think is just encapsulating everything you've embodied today. Mastery consists not in abnormal dreams, visions, and fantastic imaginings or living, but in using higher forces against the lower, escaping the pains of the lower planes by vibrating on the higher. By the Kybalion.
Dude. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. That's very much what I'm practicing and learning. No, I mean, as Joe says, it's not enough to know. Now is the time to know how. So I know, but I'm getting better and better at the how of it, at the doing of it, which really is fundamentally, at a brain level, pruning apart the synapses, which embody the memories and the patterns and the thought patterns of who I used to be, and making new neural networks, which of course make for new chemistry, which means a new body, which is the new self, amongst other things, which support who I'm choosing to be. It is actually that simple. It's not easy though, because we are very comfortable in the familiar feeling of being ourselves. And you really do have to break the habit of being yourself if you want to become, and what does he say? And this is so good. People try so hard to make a new personal reality, but they do it with the old personality. As soon as your personality creates your personal reality, if you want to make a new reality, you have to become somebody else.
Yes.
And it's startling in the simplicity. This man is just, I'm so grateful for what he makes available. And it's his journey, and he signed up for it, But I'm so grateful because it's unlocked so much for me. And I got a big mission to do. I know why I'm here now. I really know why I'm here. And Joe's work has just been this huge blessing to me. So, if anybody's intrigued, for God's sake, go and check it out. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but it's something much, much more profound. And the thing is, if you become the self that is so complete that you cannot be missing, you cannot be desiring or needing or wanting anything, for a start, you don't feel lack. While you're in that state, you cannot feel lack. But more than that, if you become so accustomed to living and being and speaking and breathing and smelling and tasting and feeling that way of being, it is the law that you must have the abundance you're embodying come into your life. Now, there's a gap between the embodiment and when it arrives, and that gap is our initiation into abundance, and that's how it works. Wow. That's what he says, and he's absolutely true. Paraphrased slightly by me, but, I'm not going to pretend that this is everything that I've worked out. But, I say it like it's my truth, because it is now, because it's some of the stuff I already knew. He's tied it together so beautifully.
Yeah.
And
a reflection of your consciousness, Maddie. Like you and Joe Dispenza, same ballpark. The first time I watched you and Todd Medina's show, that's who you reminded me of, because you were speaking of all the things that are practical and measured, but also immensely powerful, and even your energy, because it's about the education, right? And there's a lot out there that's not about the education.
Yeah.
And you're a wonderful teacher, right?
Thank you.
And it's not a spiritual teacher, it's a quantum level teacher, teaching people how to work with the reality we have and move into more. That's incredible.
That is exactly what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
In a nutshell. in a
Real
nutshell.
reality creation. Oh, Amadi, I sincerely hope, right, that in fact I already know, like what you are embodying, what you are doing here, right? Everything that you are offering the world is immensely beneficial, right, to everyone present. This is the power of this show, is that every single frequency that matches with another frequency will be found. Right? So anyone who is listening here and is connected as deeply as I do with Maddie and with what she's doing in the world, pay attention, right? Because whatever you've been wondering for yourself, wanting to call in for yourself, it's right in front of you most times.
Yeah, yeah.
Most times it is.
And if it's not in front of you because you can't see for looking, because man, have we all been there? It is somewhere within. But the thing is, we have to find the unknown. And we're not used to the unknown, and we don't know how to go to the unknown because it's kind of outside a box.
Yeah.
And so this is just, when you're talking about the people who are saying, if you're looking for something, it's right in front of you. If it's not right in front of you, it's inside you. But if you can't find it, it's because you're looking in the places you know. You're looking in the places that are familiar. And one of the things that you start to become more accustomed to and understand about is that everything you seek is in the unknown. And that's not about jumping off bloody great cliffs with no parachute on either. You need to dig into a little bit into Joe's work to understand what I mean about the unknown. But whatever I expect, whatever I think I know, whatever I remember, whatever my experience tells me, that's the known. If I can predict it, I know how it's going to work. And, what I know has got me to where I am so far. But if I want to go somewhere entirely different that I've never been before, then everything that I've already know up until now is not going to get me there. I got to go into the unknown. Yeah. And it's unknown, so I don't know it. So it's generally scary and unfamiliar. And people get put off by that, It's like, I don't know. Yeah. That's good. You're in the unknown. Feeling confused, feeling disoriented, and yet somehow like this might be right, even though you can't get your head around it. That's great. You're in the unknown. Stay there.
Yeah. The unknown. Oh, this hour has been incredible, Manny. I have enjoyed every single second. Thank you so much again for taking time out of your moving parts to be present with us. It is always a pleasure. I'm always here for you. I need to get you back on again soon, and hopefully we'll stay on that date, right? I'll be in touch later in the week when things are a little less hectic. But like I said, thank you so much.
Oh, it's been an absolute joy. We made it!
We did it, finally. Guys, this is Maddie Schaefer. Her truth is our unity. So please can we keep sharing it, pass the show along. Some real gems inside of this. If you want to get in touch with Maddie, her website is, where do I get people to get you?
Oh, insight.com. So E for, not a cough, E for energy, N for your name, S for the winding road, S, the winding road, Y for the forked path, T for the thing that's on the end of your road that says you're not going anywhere, the barrier, right? But that always makes us go somewhere else. And H is the horizon viewed through the pillars of a gate. Insight.com. ENSYTH.com.
ENSYTH.com. There we go.
Yes, that's it. That's my site. And of course, I'm on Facebook. So if you want to send me a friend request, feel free.
Awesome. Thanks, Maddie. Have a beautiful evening. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you. Guys, I'll see you all later. You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye, guys. I'll talk to you.